This is me. You can probably tell what I'm doing. Yes, I'm cramming. This is the best way that I can explain it.
You know, cramming is just learning at a very intense pace.
In this video, we get into the 10 best tips that you could use for cramming that you're probably not using. We're using clips from the Student Struggles podcast. The full podcast is down below. Let's get into tip numero uno. Have a plan. It sounds kind of obvious, but some of you probably not planning properly. So I just wanted to overview how you can plan correctly.
A goal without a plan is just a wish. You have to create some sort of plan around how you plan to get better grades than you think that you would at this point in time. So how much time is there between now and this exam you need to cram for? Is it a couple of days? Is it 1 or 2 weeks? That's gonna directly correlate to the amount of time, the amount of intensity you have to put into it, how many topics you could cover, how deep can you cover each of those topics, right? You can't just go in there wishy-washy and do whatever, because then you will get wishy-washy results. So determine what is you have to study, how much time you have to do so. Like, create a study plan to see like which topics you want to cover in each session. Track your progress. Are you falling behind schedule and you can't cover as many topics as you thought you could? Are you ahead of schedule and you may be able just to get in some other topics you didn't know that you may be able to, which could lead to better success in these upcoming exams?
Tip number 2 is to prioritize the important topics. You want to be as efficient as possible, and this is how you do it.
Based on the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, most exams, 20% of the information you were taught is going to make up 80% of the exam. Let me just tell you the story. I was in 6th form and I was doing physics. This is like big rock physics where like it got your head tied up, ain't no more numbers, there's a bunch of letters and all sorts of stuff. We had a study guide that was, let's say, 200 pages. I had a 2.5 hour exam. Out of this 200-page book, I was quizzed on 5 pages. But that's less than 20%. So this giving you perspective, because so little of what you are actually taught is what you're going to be quizzed, or what your exam is going to be on. So talk to persons who've had the course before by looking through past papers. What are the recurring topics? Disregard the other 80% or so. Find what is the important things, prioritize them. That plan that you made in tip number 1 is built around those important topics, right? You know what I mean? Cram effectively.
So tip number 3, you want to utilize active recall. And this is exactly how you do that.
It's something that I only realized when I was at university, right? But essentially, learning is not a spectator sport. Learning is not just like simply rereading and rewriting notes. If by learning, the only way you know how to learn is to like reread and rewrite notes and highlight some notes, like, please try to find something else. Active recall. Essentially, you don't want to learn passively by rereading and rewriting notes. You want to make it active. You want to be questioned, quizzed, right? So how could you do that? Flashcards is an awesome way to do that. Flashcard, you put the question on the front side of the card and the answer on the back, and you do as many of those, and you just churn those like you're doing like a game show, like Family Feud or something. You're just going through as many flashcards as possible. Another way is inversion learning, right? So you read a section of this book very quickly and then you close the book. Bam. What you're gonna do next is you are going to write down as many things of that section or chapter as you can remember, and then you're going to compare it to the end of chapter summary or the study guide. You may do that over and over till you can actively summarize and characterize everything that is in the end of chapter summary by what you've read in the actual chapter. And again, if you want more techniques and ones that may best suit you, just Google active recall. Like, it's very simple. Like the times we're living in, information is at our fingertips.
Tip number 4, practice, practice, practice. You need to do as many practice exams and practice tests as possible, and this is why.
Practice makes perfect. Simply put, get as many past papers as possible, and those same sessions that we were talking about when you plan, there should be somewhere you revise, and there should be somewhere you're actually going through and putting yourself in the environment of having an exam. So when the exam comes, this is not the first time you've been in an exam environment. By doing the past paper questions, that is not the first time you see how the questions are designed and put together, right? Because you could know a topic very well, but how the questions come could throw you off, and that could unfortunately derail your success in any exam. There's more than likely past exam papers on the internet somewhere or on a flash drive being held by somebody that is in administration or somebody who plans to sell past papers. You know what I mean? You could get access to that information.
On a side note, yes, I was wearing the glasses because I thought it would make me look smarter. But secondly, we're also launching the Student Struggles newsletter. We can get information like this and a lot more engaging and fun content in your inbox every single week. If you're interested, the link is down below. Let's get to more of these tips. Tip number 5, you gotta learn how to work as a team. 2 brains are better than 1. So I can show you how you can use your friends to make cramming 10 times easier.
Collaboration with peers is like the ultimate cheat code when it comes to cramming. I know it was for me. Shout out to Jolan and Shannon. I had Jolan on the podcast, episode 5, I think. What we would do is that one person learns a certain topic and then teaches the other person that topic. By teaching someone else the topic, it becomes more reinforced in your mind and you understand it better. Because to teach anyone something, you have to put it in simple terms. So you have to understand it in the first place to put it in simple terms. And then the other person benefits because I didn't have to waste 2 or 3 hours learning how to section 2. She did and was able to teach me, but I also learned section 1. She was able to learn section 1. So get a group of 3, 4, or 5 friends. Divvy up the syllabus of the important topics that we discussed before. Divvy up the important topics in 3, 4, or 5 based on how many persons you have. So instead of spending 20 hours to do 5 topics, you spent 4 hours and still get the benefit of learning the other 3 or 4.
Tip number 6 is to not to kill yourself. You have to take frequent breaks. So after each half hour 45-minute session, take a 5-10 minute break, replenish yourself, then go again. You'll thank me later.
Don't lock yourself in your room for 6 to 8 hours each day and think that that's going to be successful. No. Break it up into little chunks, right? And take breaks.
Tip number 7 is to write it down anywhere. Yes, I want you to still quiz yourself and do past papers and use active recall. When I mean write it down anywhere, get the information outside of your head. And this is how you can do that.
Or like don't mind maps or graphs. And I want you to get as much of the information in your mind down on something. So in any way possible, get it out of your head. Get it onto some paper, a chalkboard, a whiteboard, or even if you like kind of like draw it somewhere, that is another way with which is going to be more concrete in your mind.
So tip number 8 is to make it easy to remember. This is essentially mnemonics, which just means having like a little rhyme or an acronym that you use to make something easy to remember. Practical Psychology has a really good video on this topic, so you can probably go check them out for further information on mnemonics.
Tip number 9 is to stay hydrated and nourished, right? A lot of us underestimate the effect of eating well and drinking a lot of water does for us, right? Because you feel better, you're able to do more, right? You have more energy and you're feeding your brain properly so that it can perform, right? It's not like you put in water inside a gas engine, right? You're ensuring that you're properly fueling the same entities you need to use later on so that they can perform at their best. Sleep is the best medication, right? I've been someone who's very much overlooked this. I thought sleep has always been a waste of time because you're kind of just like in a comatose state for like a 30-day day where you could be doing something else. But I've come to learn I'm better now, guys. Don't worry, I'm better now. So if the rubber meets the road, it's better for you to go in your bed and wake up early and revise than to push an extra 2 or 3 hours and compromise your sleep, because you need to be at your optimum levels for this exam, right? So just to briefly recap, these are 10 points. I think all are very effective. I wish I've had somebody to tell me all these 10 points before, right? But hopefully now you can utilize it as best as possible, or even if you can't, like someone else you know who's going through exams can, right? So again, create a study plan. Get concrete on how you're going to get from where you are now to getting a better grade in these exams than you think you would if you didn't cram. Number 2, prioritize the important topics. More than likely 20% of what you learn is going to be 80% of the exam. Find out what those important topics are. Plan your study sessions. Base them. Have the foundation of them be these important topics, right? use active recall techniques. Do not, and I repeat, do not reread and rewrite notes. Please, I begging you, do not reread and rewrite notes. Google active recall techniques. It will be the best thing you have ever done. Get past papers, crush those past papers over and over. If you could, get a 50-50 split between you revising and studying and you doing past papers, right? Collaborate with peers. Again, you can do so much more with persons, with friends, with a group, with a team than by yourself. Get some visual aids. Draw some flow charts, draw some mind maps, do some graphs, but get the information in your head out into the world so you can actually see it as well. Use mnemonic devices, a little rhyme, a little acronym, and finally, we just talked about it, stay hydrated and eat your proper foods before this exam. I wishing you all the best on these exams. If you have shared this with somebody, again, I appreciate you, but cramming is a skill, cramming is a science, and these 10 tips will hopefully get you a better grade than you even ever think was expected. If you felt like this video on cramming was good, check out this other video, because actually I kind of go into depth on those same active recall techniques. So if instead of not Googling this thing, you want to see a video on this thing by yours truly, just click that video over there or check out other episodes of the Student Struggles podcast. Enjoy.